Hello everyone, I'm Baltmatrix and this is IRONWORKS from Transformers Earthrise. He is a deluxe class figure, and he is molded in gray, black, red, and yellow. And I don't mean yellow. More on that in a little bit. The overall aesthetic of the figure is quite cool. I love the look of this guy in robot mode. Now this is a Battlemaster, similar to Six Gun, Cog, and Brunt. Now, his alt mode we will get into in a little bit, but the robot mode is quite good looking. I love the coloring and I love the overall aesthetic. It has a very gruff, rough aesthetic to it. The figure comes with one accessory, and actually two, that's split apart. You've got this little gun end and this little blaster that then combine into a bigger gun and can be wielded in both, well, his left hand and then his right claw. Yeah, his hook can hold the gun, but it's very loose, so you can peg it into the forearm. That works a little better. Now, this figure does unfortunately suffer from a no real hand syndrome. That's not a hand, that is literally a hook. Head sculpt is pretty good. I like the overall look of the head sculpt. It kind of reminds me of Sideswipe. The face is neat, I like the faceplate, but the visor being red and the faceplate being red is kind of annoying. They are different shades of red, though. One's a candy apple red and one's more of a rust red. The faceplate matches the rest of the red that's on the figure, while the visor matches the Autobot symbol. I would have preferred that to be another color, maybe the dark gray, or even the yellow. That would have been nice. Head is on a ball joint, though it is a bit limited. Can only look down that much and can only look up that much. But if you kind of do a half transformation and push the head back, you can look up farther. Shoulders both have hinges for in and out movement, and they are on pegs for 360 degree. Both of them have swivels just above the elbow. The left elbow bends over 90 degrees. The right elbow bends at only 90 degrees because it's more of a pin than an actual joint. And then the hook swivels and can actually detach, so you can attach anything else to the front of the hook hand. And then the fist on the left side does not pose, but you can attach little things. But I just like to think that that's like a little impact hammer that he has there. There is waist articulation, though it is limited because it keeps hitting against the butt of the figure. Figure can kick forward at 90 degrees with a nice little ratchet going there. You can't really hear it, though. Can't kick back that far at all. Bend is over 90 degrees at the knee. He has the Siege ankle articulation for a full 90 degrees, and then he could kick out and do the full beautiful spread. We have to talk about the paint on this guy. Everywhere on the figure, the paint is great, except for the yellow, and I don't know if this was done on purpose. It's bad. It's real bad. Like, it's blotchy, it's spotty. It looks like it just wasn't coated correctly, and I'm not sure how well that's showing up on camera, but in person, it looks terrible. It looks like my first paint job. Now, thankfully, they didn't paint the tips that are on the end of each hand. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to plug anything in. From a distance, the figure looks fine, but as soon as you get up close, you start noticing just how bad this paint is. And I guess it's supposed to go with the character and where the figure does his work, but it's just bad. I would have rather they used yellow plastic than take the black plastic and paint it really crappy yellow. And here for scale, you can see that IRONWORKS scales perfectly with the rest of his Battlemaster brethren, or Weaponizer brethren. I can never remember which one's which. It works. It's a very good scale, and it's nice to have some more yellow. I didn't get the other two guys that I've reviewed, or three guys that I've reviewed, but you get the idea. Now, IRONWORKS' transformation is like the other Weaponizers, where you have to literally rip the figure apart. So rip off the legs, rip off the arms, come around to the back, rip off the first back, and then rip off the sub-back, and then you're left with the torso. So we'll first form his primary mode. Turn the head around, push it up into the body, and that is really hard to do. Grab a leg, fold the upper leg up, fold the thigh up. Next, we take the feet, and with the thighs pointing out, just bring them together like this, and then take the folded up arm, and there are two pegs on the other side that we will peg into. So peg in one, peg in two. Then take the piece of track with the hips, and that will connect to the yellow guy. And this is actually a lot harder than it should be because that paint is super thick. I'm going to take the other track and line it up so that it snaps in front. And then we drop the front of the house on top. And there we go. Oh, right, I forgot the gun. Split the gun in half, and then first peg in the bigger cannon part down there to act as another strut. And then this little one has a peg right there. It'll go right in that little spot right there. And now we're done for real this time. The little base mode that we've ended up with is delightful. It's tiny, it's compact, it doesn't move on its own, obviously, and it's not a vehicle mode, but it is so cute. And it is a throwback to the original Ironworks from the original Generation 1, specifically the MicroMaster playsets that would transform. And you can fit little Micro or Battle Masters on the set with no problem, even though they do feel a little bit on the big side for this tiny little factory unit. Now, size-wise, it does scale to about half the size of a current Deluxe class. Now, obviously, Hoist is a little bit on the big side, so we'll put Cog next to him just to give you an idea. A lot of folks don't like this idea, and I totally understand it, because Transformers are meant to transform into things that, go. But remember, the original Decepticons had a gun and a tape deck, and we've already had figures in the Siege line that don't move on their own, specifically the tape bots. Now, there is another configuration for this guy, and we'll go ahead and get him set up in that, and that is that of a tower. And that is... well, both of these modes are very reminiscent of the original G1 figures, or G1 figure set. So we'll start off with pegging in the legs into this one extra piece and folding them up. And then what I like to do is take the yellow piece, and according to... this mode isn't in the directions, but I like to put the yellow piece here, and then take this guy and unfold it, and then peg it in up here to form a crow's nest, and then flip this big old peg up, and this will have that guy up there, and then this will peg in down here, and then the gun can go wherever the heck it wants. Now, this is a little bit different than the official version of this tower mode, but I like this version a little bit better because it puts the crane all the way at the top, and I can actually peg the crane in up here. So the crane will also peg into one of these pieces down here, but what won't peg in to either these pieces or this peg is this guy right here, because the paint is inside that little peg hole, and this peg is a little bit thicker than it should be. So yeah, we get this cute little tower unit, or defense tower unit, that I like quite a bit. So if you'll give me just a second to transform one of these Battle Masters, we can have him be a sentry, or a foreman, or just get tossed. Yeah, there, that works better.
Me brunch no like Autobot Tower. Ha-ha!
One other fun thing that you can do is take the crow's nest and just futz with it, and you can add some other components onto it, and you can give another figure a giant claw, or a giant hand claw, and that's a cool little gimmick. I like that. I like Ironworks a lot. It is a fun figure, it is a easy to play with figure, and it has fun modes. Yeah, they aren't vehicle modes, but it's still fun and really does itch that little bit of G1 purist in me. It's a neat robot mode that has a lot of options and works well with the other weaponizers. And it's just unique. We've never had a figure like this before except the City Bots. I totally think this is worth having in your collection, and I picked this up over at the Big Bad Toy Store. It's also available at the Hasbro Pulse, and it should be showing up in Targets anytime now. So folks, I would love to say let me know what you think of the figure down in the comments, but unfortunately the comments don't work. So I'm going to ask you to go down to the description on this video and follow me on Patreon, because quite frankly, YouTube just isn't cutting it revenue-wise, and I need help. Thank you so much for watching this video review. I have been Baltmatrix, and I will catch you next time.